like I said, I had that epiphany in about 2012, 2013 about doing the music I'm doing now. But before then, I wanted to do a lot of film work. I was inspired by John Williams, James Van Howard, those kind of people when I was young. And a lot of actually concert composers right now that's how they got into music. And when I went to USC, that seemed like I said, the natural thing to do. The cinema school was right there. I went over there a lot, and I learned a lot about orchestration because I got to write a piece for that film, and then the next week I get to record it and conduct it and learn from the things I did well, learn from the things I didn't do so well. So that was a big learning experience for me, at least, and it also taught me to be very humble about the whole process of creating. Because in the beginning I was like, well, why do they keep telling me to change this? Why? What do they don't like about it? I don't get it. And it just taught me to be like, there's other creative voices in the room, and it's okay to listen. Actually, I try to get away from stereotypical, I guess, exotic sounds as much as possible. Every time I use kind of a different sound, I need to find a real reason for it. And I need to make sure it's part of the whole kind of fabric of the piece. Like when I work with my teacher, John Corigliano, on the pieces that I'm writing, the most important thing is how do we relate everything to everything else. Like I do the whole thing with the graph, we do the timeline, we make sure that everything kind of relates somehow to the beginning or to the end, foreshadowing and things like this. And I think that's the most important part. You need to make it into a piece. That, with Kulthum, she sings for 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours. If I need to write an orchestra piece, it has to be between 10 to 15 minutes or something like that for it to be played. And I need to figure out how do I take all these ideas that I have and put it in this, chunk of time. So for me, that's how I think of it. It's never about making exotic sound or anything like that. Or this nostalgia factor too. It's not something that I actually thought about like that, bluntly actually. It was more of how do I connect with my family? That was the main thing. How do I do it? And how can I do it in a way that combines the training that I already had? I don't want to completely say, I don't want to do, Western classical music anymore, because I love that too. So how do I do both? I think you always need to act like a professional. I think you always need to learn as much as you can about the business of composing too. Because once you're out of school, there's no grace period. That's it. I think the more that you keep thinking you're a student, you're going to be writing student music. You need to think outside that kind of shell and say, well, what do I want to do? And don't worry about anything else.